Hello and welcome. We're so glad that you are here for this next episode of Joyful Business TV. I'm Laura West, I'm a host of your show, and I'm also the CEO of the Center for Joyful Business. I'm a creative mindset and business success coach, and for over 20 years, I have been helping conscious, sensitive, creative, soulful, and ambitious, highly ambitious entrepreneurs who want to grow their business while sharing their soul work out into the world in a bigger way. They want to make great money, but they also want a different way to run their business, a way that's really aligned with who they are, their authentic marketing style, their beautiful brilliance. They're really focused on their soul tribe, and they're ready to step into the leader that I know you always have been meant to be. So this is all about joyful business is all about creating an environment where you and your business can flourish. And I truly believe that you are designed to flourish. Like you already have everything you need. We just need to get the stuff out of the way that's getting in the way. And then we need to open it up so that you're really aware of how amazing you are and what you have to share with the world that can help make a difference. That's why I'm bringing you this really special guest today because she is amazing at helping you do that. So a little note, if you're here live, we're gonna talk in our interview series for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to open it up to you, and we'll have about 30 minutes where we'll be open for your questions or anything you have going on with your business. So today, I'm really excited to introduce to you a longtime friend and colleague of mine. Her name is Jennifer Urezzio, and she is the founder of Soul Language. And I found her, gosh, it's been decades, over a decade, I think. And I love her work around soul language. I can't wait to introduce it to you in just a moment. A little bit more about Jennifer. She is a master intuitive, and she is the author of two best-selling books. She has currently trained over 30 practitioners around the world in this idea of soul language. And there's also over 4,000 individuals all over the world who are connecting to their soul language each and every day and using that in their life and in their business. All right, so let me bring Jennifer to you. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello. You know what the best part of that entire intro was? Being called your friend. That was
Aw.
like the best part. I was like, oh, Laura West is my friend. Yay.
Yay, we love that. We love that. I do consider you a very long time friend, and we've been around the block a few times.
Totally. Over a decade, which
Yes.
is crazy if I think about it. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I know. We
huge.
can't think about it too hard. That just means we're very, very wise. And we've got the scratches and bumps and bruises to prove it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm sure our audience is really curious about this idea of soul language. You just hearing that name is kind of a curiosity. And one of the things I love is that your work is so aligned with your beautiful brilliance. And beautiful brilliance is where we line up with our natural talents, our learned strengths, our wisdom, our expertise, and we put all our gifts and talents, we put all that together. And I think you've done such an amazing job of that. So, can you tell us a little bit more about what is soul language?
Well, first of all, thank you. I think you're right. I was asking some really big questions in like 2007, 2008, like, okay, I know what my life purpose is, powerful healer and teacher of service in the spotlight. That's great. What do I do with that? And where are my people? Because I'm really, really kind of angry. And I went to a conference where I was speaking about essential oils and life purpose. And this person sat down next to me and went, we're going to be friends. And I went, totally. And then my inside voice went like, why her and not this other woman across the way that I don't care if I ever see her again. What is that? And what I heard was, oh, that's soul language. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep asking questions. And before long, I had this paradigm that puts tangibility to soul. And so we have words to what we know deep down inside. So soul language gives verbiage to three different core energies of soul: your mission, how you feel that mission, and then your soulful personality, which means how you prefer to go through life. And when individuals have that knowledge, something goes off like, oh my God, I can accept that. Oh my God, you're in my head. Oh my God, there are words to what I know so deep down inside. it allows this kind of deep sense of acceptance and love for
Mm.
yourself. And then you can start operating consciously with that information rather than putting programming into everything you do.
Right, right. I know when I did your assessment and received my soul languages, my three words, as you're talking about, it was such a, like, I felt like we were putting name to something that I kind of knew, but it was sort of like this operating system running running underneath the surface. And it was like we named it and it was like, yes, of course, that's what I do. That's it. It's very
And then
powerful.
it's very powerful. And then that allows people to like have that connection with their soul to ask that guidance and ask that questions and really understand when they're operating from pain and struggle or versus consciousness. And for me, one of my soul languages is called graceful warrior. And all of my life I've been berated for my warrior energy. Like I've been called aggressive. And I'm like, really? Because I just asked for a pen. But right, but when I had the words to understand that and fully accept that, what happened was I stopped making war with everything in my life, internally and externally. I
Mm,
got a publisher for my book. I moved one house over, which changed my life completely. And I really began to see that as, wow, people are coming to me for my courage and for my strength. And it became an asset rather than something where I was trying to smother, which never
right.
worked anyway and came out inappropriately.
Right, and then it starts leaking out in other ways because it's part of who you are, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, I just love that. I love that. I know. Yeah, I was looking at my words again, reviewing that before our call, and one of my descriptors is sextant, and the other one is connoisseur, and both of those were so illuminating as to like what I do for people and how I navigate the
Right.
world.
Right. And here's the thing. I think so often, masters of service like you and me, we're always going externally, like what we can do to help the world. How can we be of service? But what's so fundamentally understanding about soul language is this core energy, your soul is for yourself first,
Yes.
right? And so often we're so focused externally that we forget, wait, for connoisseur, that's all about acceptance, right? So whenever you're in pain and struggle, the first thing you're going to want to go is, okay, where am I in non-acceptance? For me, the first thing one of the things that I do when I'm in pain and struggle is, okay, where am I making war?
Mm,
Right? One of my other soul languages is called teacher of integrity, which is really about seeing where people are out of the consciousness of love for themselves.
mm,
And I was talking with another teacher of integrity today, and we were talking about support teams. And I'm like, look, you're going to find the glitch. You're always going to find the glitch in anything that you or anyone that you work with, because that teacher of integrity is naturally going to go, oh, wait, here's where you're out of integrity. Here's where you're out
right.
of integrity, right? And the point is to be conscious of it, is really to kind of settle in and go, okay, so I'm worthy of receiving profound support. And then you'll find people who you don't find that glitch is and who actually support you without you having to show them the way. That's huge, especially for people in the case of teacher of integrity, where they have a really hard time receiving support. It's like a whole new system of going, oh wait, I'm whole and complete. Let's operate from there. What do I get to say and do to express that versus there's something wrong inside of me?
Right, right. And I love that where our foundational beliefs are so aligned because I know I was taught way back in the day, and they still teach this, to go out and see what does the world need. Go there first.
Yeah.
Instead of, I believe that you got to go inside first, which is exactly what you're pointing to, and be like, all right, what is my beautiful brilliance? What's my soul language? What do I need to become aware of in myself and accept and love and honor? And then how can that match what the world needs?
Right.
What my soul tribe needs.
And anyone who has any empathic abilities, right, you put that on that master of service, the wanting to be of service to the planet, and then it becomes this, okay, so how can I move and transform myself so they feel better, right? And then you spend all of your life externally silently going, oh my God, where's my stuff? I need this. Why am I not getting what I want? Why do I feel incomplete? Your soul is designed to support what you want to experience here. And
Mm,
I think most people don't include themselves in that giving and receiving equation.
yes.
And they're silently or not so silently suffering.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart.
Yeah, same here. Same here. It's people are struggling, they're striving, they're suffering, they're buying all these different programs, trying to find the solution. Well, maybe this teacher will help me, do the perfect Facebook ads or whatever it might be. And it's like the strategies aren't the first thing. It's like the first thing is in here. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I just love this. And I want to hear more. I want to be able to share more about, because you have been, as we were saying earlier, we've been around the block a few times, we've been here for a while. And so I'm curious, what is something that you would share with someone about, like some wisdom around, all right, here's how to have a truly successful business, like to kind of cut through some of the, because we know it's not about all the marketing strategies. It's, and so I'm curious where you point people to. And it may be what we were just talking about.
We identify the personal energy and we also identify the business energy. And I think the first thing I want everyone to know is you are not your business.
Mm,
You call in a business to do something bigger first for yourself and then for others. And so often, people will spend a lot of time doing their business by jury. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think, and let me know what you think. And by the end, they're like kind of in a dizzy little state because they're not really tuning in to the infinite amount of knowledge that's inside of them and
mm.
inside that business energy. Um,
So tell me a little bit about that, about the difference between, because I so agree, but I want to hear your words around, you are not your business. When you're a solopreneur, a lot of people think, oh, but I am my business.
yeah.
Tell me about
So,
that.
so if you close, like, the way I see it is that when we want to create something bigger for ourselves in our planet, in our communities, we really need different types of energy to do that. And so the spark of a business or the inspiration pops in our head, which is really us calling out to the universal goodness of, I want to create this. What do I need? What kind of energy do I need to support that creation? And then what happens is that energy is called forth into a business soul. And I think so often when people have this inspiration or this idea, the first response is, oh my God, I have an idea. And I go, oh my God. So you heard what, the universal forces have
Mhm.
said. And now you get to determine if it's yours to carry through, and then talk to that or have a conversation of that entity, so you can understand that you're just the shepherd of that. You're just the
Right.
body for that inspiration. And so often I think, I had this friend in high school, and he was 6'1". And I came into his room one day, and here he was, head underneath his desk and feet sticking out. And I was like, Siri, what are you doing? And he's like, I just need a place. And all of my life, I'm like, everyone just needs a desk.
Mm,
Everyone is just really searching for this place. And I think so often a business gives a person a place, but it's not the end all to be of who they are. It's a way of expression of your divine gifts. So it's a vehicle and it's inspiration, but
mhm.
just like any other job, it's not who you are at your core. And I think when you really understand that, when you understand that it's an expression to see how you want to be of service to yourself and to others, that it's not an illustration of if you are whole and complete, then it becomes a giant board game of fun versus what
Right.
most people, right, what most people do is that business is the end all to be all of their
Right.
safety.
And it becomes this daily evaluation of, did I do good today? Did I make money today? Did I get a client today? Am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Am I, and it's so not about that. So
And
not.
it makes me ill just thinking of, like,
I
just hearing,
know.
right, like we've
And
all
it
been there,
hurts.
right?
Yes, it hurts.
And we've all been there, and I might go back there again, right?
Right.
But when you really start to go, oh, well, this is just a giant board game of goodness, and how do I want to play it because I'm whole and complete,
Yes.
then it's like there's a lot less attachment. I think especially entrepreneurs have so much attachment.
I think
to
it's
their
one of
business.
the, yeah, I think it's one of the sort of pitfalls of having a passion-based business or purpose-led business. We all love that passion and purpose-based business, but that can lead to burnout because you don't know when to stop. And it can also, like you said, it can lead to I'm doing something wrong because I'm not, getting my purpose out in the world in a big enough way. And yeah, and it's a way it can turn against us. And so I love where you're pointing. And I'm a big believer that our businesses are like this giant experiment. And I know it can be hard to hold that sometimes when you got to pay the rent, you got to pay the bills, the car needs new tires, kids are going to college, all that stuff. And yet you have to hold it with some level of detachment so that you can experiment and try things and put things out there in different forms and different ways.
Yeah, and to know and to really understand that you have to start with the fundamental belief that you're being loved, supported, and provided for in ways that are seen and ways that are unseen.
Yes.
And so often, I really have to practice that no one's the source for me, just sources. Everyone's a resource.
Mm.
And if it's not this resource, it will be another resource. And I've kind of at times have been this observer going, huh, you thought that would turn into a client. It didn't. Hmm. You thought this would never turn into a client, and it did. Hmm. And spending really like
We are not
seeing
in control.
right and seeing how much time I'm thinking in my business versus really listening. So here's a perfect example. So I did a talk a couple of weeks ago, and it was on Zoom, of course. And one of the participants, like, I would look at her and like this, I would see this light bulb keep going off. And my rational mind went, she's never gonna become a client. Like, I don't even think she likes me. Like, rational mind. Well, guess what, everyone? She became a client today, right?
Mhm.
Like that again, that kind of really sitting in that knowing versus what your mind's doing. Because every time we do something with our mind, we're thinking it through. That is, we're moving past our knowing, we're moving past what soul wants to share with us.
Yeah.
And we're choosing a lot of lack.
Right, right. We're using very limited resources that we have.
Yeah.
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. So I would love to hear, a big part of what I help people do is to help open up their creative expression and their creativity and use their creativity in their marketing, use their creativity in their programs. So I'm curious about your thoughts around creativity and how does that show up for you in your business?
You know, I went to school for art. Like, I was an art student. I went to school for photography,
I didn't know
and
that.
I know, right? And I write. I can't paint. I wish I could paint. I can't even draw. I just do stick figures. So for being creative, always seems second nature to me. I think the way that I really need to enforce it, and I have done over the last several years, is sometimes I dumb it down. Sometimes I try to be too serious or try to be,
Mm.
you know, and I always have to let a lot go and be okay with, being funny and being not so serious and, bringing some playfulness into it. I think that's how personally I open up my creativity. Um, Also, I think sometimes what stops creativity is kind of that one lane thing. So I love video games, and now I have an iPad, right? Like, so I can do all of my little apps with my video games, right? And I love those, you know, those matching games, right? And I was playing a lot of matching games for a while, and I was like, ugh, I can't get past this board. And I realized I would do the same thing every time. I would start the board the same. I would go through. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like, this is crazy. I keep doing the same pattern. So I bring also that into my rating. Like, okay, so here's the same pattern again. Am I going to kind of like stop and see where I want to move past this pattern and or move past the typical way I would say this, really kind of,
Mm.
standing on the table instead of sitting on the floor mentality. I often do that during my writing. And I also write for, sneaky. I also get paid sometimes to write for clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I get to write for a client, it's also like writing in a different voice opens up my creativity.
Mm.
And then when I really get stuck, I always hear from Soul, okay, it's time to write the mystery book. So I have like probably like 6 or 7 mystery books started, because then it opens up some creativity and I'm like, oh, this was just sort of weird exercise.
Right.
Right. And so those are a couple ways that I can bring in a whole new slant.
I love that. I love that. During the deep COVID winter, the first winter, I took some poetry classes, and I had never, really had an interest in poetry so much, like not super deep. And I had a few favorite authors. Um, but it was like the thought of playing with that, it just really started opening things up in a whole different way. And it's amazing how doing something creative in one area opens up your creativity in other areas like your business.
Yeah. One year, like I think it was 2010. One winter I was like, I'm not making any money. I'm just gonna bake bread. And
Hmm.
I would bake bread and I would make money. And I would bake bread
Right.
and I would make money. And I would just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep baking bread. And so I always, when I'm feeling really stuck, I always do something that is not involved in my business as well. Like I'll like, oh, okay, let's do this. One year, I was really stuck in my business and I called my best friend. I was like, hey, got any PR job? She's like, well, yeah, because I'm stuck with this thing because my person just went off and had a baby. I was 2 weeks early. I was like, okay, I'll just, and I did a little PR for a while. And
Hmm.
I was finally like, I was like, look, I got to stop because I've got too many clients. I don't have enough time now. Right. So
Right.
it's really kind of stepping out of the every day to day thing and looking at things differently. That's why vacations are so amazing.
Yes, yes. I know my recent vacation and retreat down in Guatemala just opened things up in a whole new way. I'm still sort of like reconnecting and like, all right, how's that coming into my daily life? Um, and a lot of times it's not one plus one is two. It's like you do something, you bake the bread, you go on trips internationally or wherever that is, and then it's like you come back and you're just changed, right? It's opened something else up, or you have a different perspective, or a different part of your expression wants to come out in a new way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So tell me about one of the things I love is starting the day with rituals. Starting the day with some intention and really aligning my energy with what it is I want to create that day. So I'm curious, what are your favorite rituals, or how do you start your day? Do you have some way that you start your day that?
Yeah, well, my day starts typically at 4:30 or 5 o'clock with a dog walk.
Uh,
And then, so, but I'm a master prayer writer and I love to write affirmative prayers. So
mm,
I write a prayer every day and I put it in my God box, which is a box that if I'm having problems or challenges or I want to declare something, it goes in that box. And God watches over it. That's my verbiage. So I usually start that way. I will start with a communication, a conversation between me and my soul. Sometimes I'll ask a question and then take the dog for a walk and then it pops into my head. um
love that.
right, like, oh, there it is.
Yes.
I also lately I've been, although today I missed it as I'm looking around, I start with like, okay, so what do I want to throw out, what do I want to clean up, what do I want to reorganize, really cleaning my space of stuff that, we just have so much stuff and most of it I don't use, and I've been really purging. That's a daily practice I do.
Mm,
And then I ask a couple key questions. What do I want? What do I need today? And what does my soul want me to know?
mm, mm-hmm.
And then I make some notes, or sometimes I do the to do list and then on the to do list. And then I flow into the day, right? And
Nice.
throughout the day, I think is also important. So throughout the day, I clear my energy and I ground my energy, which is really important, especially this kind of energetic weirdness we're all in.
Right.
And then throughout the day, because the dog needs constant walks, there's a lot of playtime and walking and, reconnection and coming back to being grounded.
So can you give us one way that how do you ground your energy or clear your energy? Like what's one of your favorite ways?
Do you want a really quick one? It's my favorite way. So
Yeah.
I use my body, my divine intelligence, because it has no free will, to ground myself and align myself. So it's simply divine intelligence, align body and soul, align my earth star and my heaven star.
Mm,
And the first time I did that, it was a much longer meditation at that time. But the first time I did it, I felt like something go into place. I was like, whoa, what was that? And it's never been that dramatic since. But for me, that really just aligns that central energetic channel and clears anything that I've been holding on to or that I've picked up that's not mine. And it really brings both the alignment with that God piece and that grounded piece. You have to be grounded on the earth to manifest. And I think a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs don't really understand that. They like to float, and
mm.
that makes manifestation harder.
Right, right. I love that. And I love how um, congruent and yet simple that is,
Yeah.
that it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be like hours and hours and hours, to get grounded. It's like
Yeah.
you can just deem it so and align and let yourself feel the alignment.
Yeah, and I'm warrior, right? So I'm a warrior in nature. So sitting on the mountaintop, ooming or like meditation for hours is not like I'm just gonna go crazy. My body needs to move, and so often people will go, "Oh, well, you're resisting meditation." I'm like, "No, it doesn't resonate. I'm not in resistance. It doesn't resonate." And I think so often people fall into a practice that doesn't resonate with them.
Right.
And then they don't do it because it doesn't resonate. It's not resistance, it just doesn't feel right. And so that's why I love the dog walking, moving meditation,
Yes.
because it satisfies all parts of me. And I think that's really important for whatever we do.
I think that's so important. I know there is something about being in the body for sure that it's like we need. I think, especially today, as you were saying, it's like we need those practices, that movement. I know the more that I dance, the more that I move, the more that I make sure I'm in my body, so much more is available,
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, especially for us with warrior nature, like that's key,
Mm,
that's needed. And it also allows you to shift your energy and move the energy that's stuck versus trying to do it all with your upper chakras.
right, right.
Yeah.
And we love the upper chakras
I love
and we
them.
need the lower chakras too, right? We need to have that, be able to lean into what we need at different times. So
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. So I know we need to, I can't believe how fast this goes. So there's so much more I'd love to ask you, but let us start out with this. How can people get in touch with you or find out more about what you're up to?
Soullanguage.us is my website. I'm on all the social media under Soul Language or my name. I have lots of groovy stuff. I have a podcast called Ask and Answered by Soul. And I answer my own emails and I pick up my own phone. Please don't call me at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I do. So reach
Tell
out.
us about that free gift. You have, what is
Yeah.
it? Tell me a little bit more.
So I'm empathic, and for years I didn't understand that what that meant. And I think a lot of people, it's a word that we throw around today, and I think empaths need special tools to really utilize that and clear their energy and stay grounded. So it's a free gift for empaths to really understand your energy and start to utilize it as a superpower
Yes.
versus as a hindrance or struggle.
I love that. I love that as an empath, and I have lots of clients who are empaths. So if you're listening to this, chances are you are empathic. We've been attracted together for that. And please go check out Jennifer's free gift because it's something that can be a superpower. Or it can really drag you down each day. It can be great when you're in conversation with people, but it can also be something that when you're so wide open that it makes it harder to actually grow your business if you don't know how to really work with that. So
Yeah.
fabulous. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here, Jennifer. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure spending time with you. And just thank you for the impact that you've had on my life and my business. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So thank you, everyone. We're going to wrap up for today. I do want to remind you, you can watch more episodes if you haven't had a chance. We've got over 30 episodes now, so we're really excited to be able to share how this you can be in business in a different way that really, really, truly makes a difference and will help you be successful. You can also go to joyfulbusiness.com and find out more resources. We've got all sorts of good things there. We've got a great free gift that's called Activate Your Abundance. And that's something that you might want to take advantage of as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope to see you on the next episode of Joyful Business TV. Thank you for watching this episode of Joyful Business TV. I want to invite you to get more creative strategies and support for growing your business. You can start right now by activating your abundance mindset with a really powerful creative visualization that will help you get into the universal abundance current, one of my favorite things to do. And you'll also get a companion 7-day journal that will help you create a daily habit of co-creating with the universe. These are two powerful resources that you can get started right now to help grow your business and activate that abundant mindset. You just go over to activateabundancegift.com.